Hello and welcome to the Motorsport Chat. I'm Natalie Durkin.
I'm Tiara.
And I'm Liv.
We have an exciting weekend of motorsport ahead of us, kick-starting with the Shanghai Grand Prix for Formula One. But before we jump into any predictions for round 5,
we need a quick sum up of everyone's thoughts of the F1 season so far.
So, we've had 4 races so far.
Yeah.
Max is leading the championship, not a surprise.
Not a surprise at all.
In terms of, let's pretend Max is not part of the grid right now.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the rest of the grid? The rest of the drivers, the teams?
Carlos Sainz, brilliant.
Yeah.
Ferrari have lost a good one.
Yeah.
I honestly, it baffles me why they've...
Do you think they've made a mistake choosing Lewis over him or losing Sainz over Leclerc?
I just think they just should keep Charles and Carlos.
Yeah.
Honestly. I think they work well as a team. Like, even through, like, the media stuff, they work so well. They
need to change the team rather than the drivers.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Exactly.
I think it's like that old saying, like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And it seems like what they have is really good. And as much as I think Lewis is a really talented driver, is it really worth taking that risk?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So Red Bull as a team are obviously doing very well. Max flying away with the championship as we knew he would.
Of course he is, yeah.
Sergio Perez is known for starting the season very well and then slowly falling away.
Declining,
Is this something you think is going to happen this year?
I honestly think so. That car is like shaped around Max. It's difficult to be a second driver to Max. I think it's I don't think it's going to be a great season for him, to be honest.
No, I completely agree. I think judging by previous seasons, it's just natural to assume that's going to happen. So that's what I think is going to happen too. Start off well, which wasn't surprising, and then at some point we'll just begin to decline a bit.
Unravel.
So
Unravel,
if he doesn't get the seat at Red Bull, what do you think he'll do after? Do you think he'll go into endurance, Formula E?
I can imagine him doing some endurance, actually.
Yeah.
But I think he'll take some time away and then come back maybe like a year or something off.
That's what I'd imagine too. Have a bit of a break and then get back into it. Because a lot of we've seen it with Alonso, like you begin to miss it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I think when you've been like spending your entire life working to get into Formula One, you're there, and then you retire. It's sort of like, I'm not a Formula One driver, but I'm assuming it's hard to deal with once you're away from the track.
Absolutely.
And you can work in different sections of Formula One, but there's nothing that's quite like being a driver.
No.
So I can imagine he'll probably miss it and want to get involved in some type of way.
I can't see Alonso leaving for a long time.
Me neither.
He's going to be...
He's part of the furniture at this point.
Honestly,
At
it's
least
crazy.
he's still performing, because I think Kimi was in it for a long time, but he wasn't getting the most out of it.
At the lower, standard of it, whereas Alonso's actually like within the top 10. Like,
if he's got the chance, getting podiums.
Well.
Relatively consistent as well.
Oh, yeah,
well
absolutely.
outperforming Stroll.
Oh,
Stroll
100%.
has actually quite a funny name. It's called a rolling contract, so everyone's saying it's a strolling contract.
Yeah.
I want to know your opinion on this, because
his
contract basically lives up to whenever he gets bored, because his dad can kind of decipher how long he stays. What's your take on that?
Oh, honestly, it's such a weird concept, because everybody else is in their contracts.
Yeah.
They've got like a limit of their years, whereas I don't understand why he doesn't have that. And I know obviously Lawrence Stroll is the owner of the team, but surely you'd want to have a contract, I think, that and surely he wants to try elsewhere as well. Yeah. He's been there, like, he's always really been there. So I don't understand why he doesn't want to,
It's always hard to discuss things like this, because it is basically nepotism, and that is why he has a rolling contract, and that's the bottom line of it. It's hard because I think when you benefit from nepotism directly, it's sort of easy to reap the rewards and the benefits from it. Yeah. So for us, I think it's easy to say, like, well, why wouldn't you want to challenge yourself? And I do imagine that, like, if you're a competitor, surely you want to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Surely you'd want to try and live up to expectations, but it's quite hard to.
I think that's what Mick Schumacher struggled with a lot. That name, obviously, a hell of a lot of pressure for him.
100%.
And I don't think the car helped, being in the Haas.
No,
that obviously won't have helped. But do you think he's someone we could see back in F1?
I would love to see Mick back in F1, just so he can like prove to people I can drive. Like I am a good racer, and sort of take the nepotism away, and so he can just like have his own drive.
Yeah,
and just prove people
before we
wrong,
quickly go into Japan, because I think that's one we need to cover. I want to know your thoughts, because Sebastian Vettel has been posting a lot on social media at the minute.
He has,
and it seems like he's going to announce some sort of involvement in Formula One.
Yeah,
and we don't know how or how much, but it seems like it's going to be either some sort of team principal related job, management, or maybe even driving.
I'd love for him to come back in any capacity. I hope he comes back. I'd love that.
When I saw that he'd been speaking with drivers, not necessarily about racing, he said, but that there's some, feelers going out. I want him to come back. I would love to see Seb race again.
I think I'm less sure of him coming back to race, only because I think the whole reason he came out is because of how large the calendar is. Yeah. So I think if he was going to come back, it would be, I don't know, in some other way, so he doesn't have to do the full 24 race calendar grid. So.
I think it'd be brilliant.
Oh,
I think it'd be so cool to see him back.
He's missed so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think his influence on the sport as well, like there's definitely like a Seb-shaped hole in F1 at the moment.
Oh yeah,
just because he can't be replaced.
No. I think with some of the circuits, and I know F1's always been a very glamorized sport, but I think especially at the minute with the American circuits, the like TikTok influencers all going, people getting more aggravated about the prices going up and things like that. I think all the environmental stuff that he was doing at the track and promotion and stuff was very important for fans.
Oh, 100%. He did so much for that. Like, it's crazy.
I think fans at home that can't go, I think that's the kind of thing they want to see if they're not there.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I think it's sort of become more of an elite sport. Well, it's always been an elite sport, but it becomes more and more so every year. Like more and more, it becomes more exclusive, and it's harder to get to races and things like that. And I think it's something that does happen. I think especially in like the society that we're in. But it would be nice if there was a driver or someone as part of the sport who sort of built that connection with the fans who can't go to races and things like that. So he's definitely missed.
I agree.
Just whilst we're on the topic, there's been rumours of now Liberty Media have taken over MotoGP. There's been people requesting and talking about F1 and MotoGP being on the same weekend, the same track. I personally don't think that would work, because I think ticket prices would be ridiculous.
100%.
So many fans wouldn't be able to attend because of like attendance and limitations and things. What do you think?
I think it would be chaos. There would be, already on a race weekend, there's so much going on, especially if you've got like Academy, F2, F3, F1 going on the exact same weekend, and then MotoGP. It would just be chaos. Chaos.
Too much.
Yeah.
So the Japanese Grand Prix.
Yep.
I think a lot of people said it was one of the better races so far.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean,
I think it was. I mean, that track is known for, a bit of competitiveness, so it was nice to have that come back. I mean, in terms of Max, he's an anomaly, so he's always going to be somewhere up front, usually first. But it's nice to have a little bit of sort of competitiveness and just a bit of racing, which is really, really fun, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I do miss like the competitive fights and racing bits like that.
Like proper racing.
Yeah, like fights on track. I think that's one thing that we've really, really missed this year and last year. Don't get me wrong, there was great racing. But I think because Max is just miles ahead of everybody, I want to see some competitive racing at the front of the grid.
I think it's a shame as well, because people aren't appreciating Max's dominance because of how boring the racing is.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because I think we'll look back at this, like we will with Hamilton and
exactly.
a lot of the rest of the greats, and think, God, he was incredible.
Yeah.
But we didn't appreciate it then because we were all so bored. But I mean, it just means that F1 need to do better and make the cars, make the racing more interesting. So just before we get on to Shanghai, I wanted to talk about Sainz, because his performance so far this season, would you say he's been the standout driver?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, P3 in the first race.
Yeah.
Appendix out for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
P1, might I just say.
Yeah, well done.
And then P3 in Japan.
Yeah.
So that's, obviously, he wasn't competing in Saudi, but every race he's competed in on the podium.
He's done so well.
Yeah, I think if Ferrari weren't regretting their decision by now, I definitely think there would be a little cloud of doubt somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it's nice to look forward to, the future and, Lewis moving over there, but they must really be kicking themselves. But I guess it works out well for them, because Sainz is still a racer for Ferrari, so anything he does this season is a credit to, well, obviously Sainz, but also Ferrari, because they get the points and they get the credit for that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So on to Shanghai this weekend. This is the first race back at Shanghai International Circuit in 5 years, meaning this weekend we'll get to see Zhou Guanyu's first home race. It'll be the first sprint race of the season too.
Last time F1 cars hit the track in China, it was Lewis Hamilton who was victorious for Mercedes as he took the lead from his ex-teammate Valtteri Bottas.
So this time out, we'll see FP1 and sprint qualifying on Friday, with rain predicted for the sprint race on Saturday, which could mean it's going to be an interesting race to set the grid for the Grand Prix that's on Sunday.
Pirelli have set C2, C3 and C4 tyres to be used this weekend. But if the rain does come on Saturday, we might see the appearance of intermediates or wets.
Could be exciting.
It
Definitely.
will.
So heading into this weekend, should we just say Max P1?
Yeah, I was going to say there's no point
just say
even
Max
discussing.
P1 and move on.
Yeah.
Let's say other two drivers on the podium. What are your predictions?
I have a feeling, I don't know why, I always get this feeling though. I feel like Lando Norris might be on the podium.
Do you think?
I just have that gut feeling that it's going to be Max, Sainz, Lando.
Do you think the McLaren has the pace to get a podium?
I don't know. But maybe it's more like a hope.
On the
line.
Yeah.
More of a hope than like a I wouldn't say realistic, because you never know with Lando, but
yeah.
I think Sainz will definitely be up there somewhere.
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
I'm really excited for Shanghai though, because of course, first race in 5 years, and I think that, well, most of the drivers would have driven there before, but it's been half a decade. They've resurfaced the track. Yeah, the track hasn't been in use, I don't think it has.
No.
So I'm really excited.
It's going to be really good. I hope it's exciting.
So what do you think about quite a lot of the drivers won't have driven here because they've only started since they've been passed. What do you think how they're gonna deal with the track, with it being a new track? And such a tough track to drive.
Yeah, it's not the easiest. Yeah,
I think it's really tricky, because when you do go to they're going to go to a new track, practice, and then it's just right to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there were difficulties. It's always really hard to predict, because it's not new, but it's been half a decade essentially, so a really, really long time. I hope they deal with it well.
Yeah.
But you never know.
You just never know.
Never know.
Yeah, I'm sure they've all smashed it out on sim, been on it, but it's so different, isn't it?
There's
being
nothing
in
like
car.
the real thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited for Saturday. If the rain does come, I think that's going to bring some excitement to the weekend.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely.
So there's going to be a lot of seat movements over the next year.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Because there's been some more news recently with the rumours of Sainz to Mercedes. Kimi Antonelli doing the F1 test yesterday.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you've heard recently and that you think might be released soon, maybe?
Do you have any?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so difficult, because I think where last season, I think that was the first season in at least a long time where all the drivers stayed the same.
Yeah.
I believe. So I've sort of like got myself into that sort of like relaxed state where I'm not expecting a lot. But I mean, we were dealt with that Hamilton bombshell.
Yeah.
And now I'm expecting like loads of different things to happen when they probably won't happen.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, would be nice.
would be.
Would be nice. But I don't know. Like I'm not quite sure because I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I really don't. What about you, Liv?
I think we'll see some big driver movements. A lot of drivers, I don't think will last much longer.
No.
If they're not putting in the pace. I think we'll see a lot of drivers introduced into F1 moving up from F2 because there's so much potential on that grid.
And there's so much talent.
So much potential. We've got Antonelli, Behrman, Martins. There's so many drivers that I think should make the move up. But there's also drivers who've gone on to endurance, Formula E, that I still think could do well in F1 if they were given the car and the chance to do so.
It's just tricky because there's such a small catchment of Formula 1 drivers. So there's so much talent that has missed or just isn't able to make it in there, which makes it really, really tricky. But I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting though.
Definitely.
If, Sainz, see what happens with Danny Rick.
Oh yeah, Daniel Ricciardo looks like he's going to go after he crashed in.
So difficult.
Australia.
I know. It's hard to talk about.
It's hard,
but sometimes
it's hard to come to terms with. But if you're being realistic,
got much time left.
It's so difficult. Yeah, absolutely.
So this weekend we've also got the 6 hours of Imola, which is really exciting because we've got some massive names. We've got Valentino Rossi, Schumacher, Kvyat and a lot of other drivers. So that's going to be quite good to see for fans. So now we are all massive fans of motorsport here at the Motorsport Chat. But let's put that test to knowledge. We have some paper here and we're all going to try our best within 30 seconds to draw an F1 car. So we're going to put it on Instagram, our Instagram at the Motorsport Chat.
Thank you.
We're going to put a poll and you're going to see who's done the best. Tiara, there's your pen.
Thank you.
And you're going to judge who does the best.
Oh God.
Okay, so we've got 30
are we ready?
30 seconds.
30 seconds to draw your best F1 car.
All right.
Are we ready, guys?
Yeah, ready.
You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like I should know what I'm doing.
Really
I probably should have got a better surface for this because, do you know what? It's not.
I've already got holes.
It's not looking good.
I've already got
holes.
This. Let's pretend that, you know what? It's fine, guys. 15 seconds, guys.
Oh my gosh.
My
10,
no.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, time's up.
My goodness.
Are we ready?
It looks like a go-kart.
So this is my car. I can't say I'm the most proud of it. I have painted cars before, but this is atrocious. Okay, so this is my. Oh, if maybe the exposure's a bit too, I might have to come a bit.
See, Natalie, yours is really good.
We see the vision.
You might even
with
see
yours.
it further back.
That looks
great. There we go. You can just about see the outline there. Right,
I'm actually
guys,
really embarrassed by this.
Me too.
You can't even really see it. Where are we?
I've signed it. If anyone wants to buy it,
What the hell is
if
that?
anyone wants to buy it.
The rear wing.
I honestly
killed me.
I'm really.
Sorry,
This
Tia.
is why we're media students.
Yeah, this is why we're not
Personally,
artists.
I think Tiara's taken that one. I don't see how you can lose
Isn't it
that.
just? I mean, it's
I
so
dunno.
streamlined, brilliant for aerodynamics.
Do you know what
Thank
it
you.
does look
Brilliant.
like? The car from
Looks like
Toy Story.
It looks like a
the
cardboard
It looks
go-kart.
Yeah.
like a lawnmower handle.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
It does.
I love it.
I think they
Imagine that's how you start the F1 cars now.
Honestly.
Starting
honestly.
price is 50k.
Wow.
God, I'd be saving
If you
up for
send that
anytime
into
soon.
FIA, that'll be the new.
Oh gosh,
That
yeah.
would be
The
the,
new design.
opening
Yeah.
image of F1.
Absolutely,
absolutely it will be.
Absolutely.
Well, that was a load of fun. Vote for who you think was the winner at the Motorsport Chat on Instagram.
Yeah.
But that's all we have time for today on the Motorsport Chat.
Make sure to follow our Instagram and TikTok accounts at the Motorsport Chat for updates.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.